Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's HCW podcast. We will be reviewing Friday Night Smackdown, the Royal Rumble, Monday Night Raw, and AEW Dynamite. Stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Roll the intro.
HCW Reviews.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am your host, Frozzy, with my good friend, Rate Wrestle. How are you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Another wonderful week of wrestling. There's actually been some really good matches this week, which I want to talk about. Some good stories.
It's been like I watched the Royal Rumble and was just like, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like it, and I was like, I enjoyed it. So yeah, we'll get into reviewing that in a bit. But yeah, been not a bad week of wrestling at all. So yeah. Is there anything you want to add before we get started?
Yeah, I don't know if you knew. I've just saw it on Twitter. Lanny Poffo's died.
Oh no, I
genius.
did not know that.
Yeah, the genius has passed away.
No way.
I'm not sure. Like I've just seen that Hacksaw Jim Duggan announced it.
Yeah.
So that's some sad news to start the nice podcast with.
I was going to say, yeah, we were just on the way to having a really good podcast, and yeah, obviously bad news.
Yeah.
I would say it's breaking news, but by the time this goes out, it'll have been 24 hours old. So yeah, sad news to start us off on this podcast, but we will try and lighten the mood as we go. Starting with WWE Friday Night Smackdown, if you want to take it away, Ray.
Yeah, so as usual, I've watched the Royal Rumble before I watch SmackDown because that's how I work. So a lot of this was irrelevant for my life. So we started off with a hooded Zayn back out in the car park with the bloodline coming in, and he speaks to Jay, and then he basically says, "I got you, Jay," and stuff like that, and then disappears into the night. We kick off with a wonderful match of Mysterio versus Karrion Kross, and by wonderful, I rated 2.25 stars because I didn't care. I just literally, my only description of this match is, what is Kross? I don't want. What did I want from him?
He's terrible.
Like he's all right wrestling wise, but they've done nothing with him.
Oh no, I don't even like him as a wrestler. I was the same when he was an NXT champion, and everyone was like sucking him off, and I was just like, "This is not good." It's like I don't get it.
He's a big entrance. Yeah. That's all it is, and Scarlett's there.
Yeah.
And then next up we had Theory came down, so this was like a let's get everyone that's in the Rumble kind of in the ring thing. Here comes the New Day, here comes the Miz. They're all mouthing off to each other, and then Lashley comes down, Lashley smash, and then Lesnar comes down, Lesnar smash.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Smashly.
Yeah.
Smashly. Love that.
Next up, we had the returning Lacey Evans with the 7th gimmick in the last 2 years versus Jasmine Allure. I rate this 1 star, which was higher than expected. A soul came off a shoe. That's the highlight of the match for me.
I skipped it, so don't know.
The soul came off a shoe. She literally had a soul in her hand. And then she got her in the Cobra Clutch.
Right. And
then she was going to win the Rumble. Next up, we had the Bang Bros. So I'm still sticking with that. I know what they are. They're on about winning the Rumble. I think you should win the Rumble. I think you should win the Rumble. And they kept hitting each other. And then the announcer that's like 2 foot tall to them, which looked ridiculous. So you've got both of them about 6'5", and then she's like 5'4". Yeah. It looked ridiculous.
Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah. And you just look like, like when you're looking at someone that you really like an idol.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then she went, realise you got like a tag match tonight. And oh yeah, we probably should deal with that. So that's about to happen. And then the Viking Raiders absolutely crucify the Bang Bros, which I think's good because I moaned last week that I don't understand what they're doing with the Viking Raiders. But if this is the reason, then fair enough. Absolutely wailed them. And then it ended up being that instead of Hit Row being like passed to the next round, like the final, it's going to be Hit Row versus a tag team that randomly that Adam Pearce just read, the backstage waiting, like they knew this was going to happen. Braun O'Shea.
Yeah.
What? So yeah, my reaction to this match, 2 stars. Hit Row are still awful. I'm going to say that every week. awful. I don't mind Braun and Ricochet. Like, Ricochet's a bit average to me. Like, I liked him on the Indies, but he's just not done anything. And Braun's just a monster. But it just seems random.
Ricochet's all about flips and tricks,
Yeah.
and gets a bit boring.
Yeah.
He's very athletic. I appreciate what he does, but just not entertaining for me.
No, especially because they've just he's lost.
Yeah.
We had I think I've written here that Kevin Owens was here, and he's going to take everyone out. He's wrote here, and then the Usos come down, and I've written still in town. I don't even know what I've written here. Like, I don't. I've written a description here. Owens take out. Usos still in town. Oh, that's it. Yeah, Owens. He takes out the all guys. He takes out the Usos and stuff like that because it's going to be Owens versus Solo Sikoa, and then they give a phone to Sami Zayn, don't they? Because he might still be in town. That was it. That makes more sense to me now. It was like
I was very, very confused because I can't see your notes.
Yeah, it was like literally one of them games that you play where you got 4 things. You got to make the link, and it's like Usos, Sami Zayn,
Town.
Yeah, then we had LA Wyatt come out. So he came out dressed as Bray Wyatt. And then
I love it. I so love it.
Yeah, and then Wyatt comes on the Titantron and he says, "You better enjoy it while it lasts," basically.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you. Yeah. And then we had the best match of the night already, 2 3/4. Legado del Fantasma versus Imperium. It was just great tag team. Imperium can't have a bad match, and Legado del Fantasma are a very good team.
Which surprises me that you've rated it 2 3/4 because they're both good teams.
Yeah, they're a good team, but it just wasn't enough time to have a good match,
No.
like a very good match.
Oh, no.
And Imperium went through, so they're going to be facing Braun and Shea in the final. What a match that's going to be. If Braun and Shea win, Jesus Christ. Then we had Charlotte, Sonya Deville, title match. She just gave in now and going to have a title match next week. Well, it'll be tonight by the time this comes out. And then we had Owens versus Solo. Already 2.5 stars. It was just pretty much a bang average matchup that ended in chaos.
Yeah.
And Zayn was there kind of stopping everything bad happening.
Yeah.
SmackDown was awful.
It wasn't great.
That's my overall rate.
It wasn't great. It did what it needed to do to get stuff over for the Rumble, but like the wrestling wasn't great on it. It was just there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just there. Like, and especially I already watched Rumble by now, so it was even worse going back to watching something that meant nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say you've seen the payoff to what that SmackDown was. So, yeah, speaking of which, we will move on to this Royal Rumble.
Yeah, so I've got 5 lines worth of notes, which is mental. Because obviously Rumbles are just long matches anyway, aren't they? So I was surprised the men's Rumble kicked off. I always thought it would be the women's Rumble. So I rated it 3.5 stars. Like, I'm not going to break down the whole Rumble because Jesus wept. So I've just wrote the main notes of it. It was really predictable. Which was always going to be the case. Gunther was amazing in it. Like, an hour and 10 minutes or whatever is incredible.
So it's the most time ever.
Yeah, it annoys me the greatest Royal Rumble now because when they announced he's run the longest in a normal Rumble, it's like, come on, just forget this greatest Rumble existed with Braun Strowman's record because it was 60.
It's not even like they carried it on after. If they carried on having a 40-person greatest Royal Rumble, fair play. But he did it once.
Exactly. They had a bit of spots in there, so Lashley and Lesnar got eliminated straight away by Lashley to set up their match. Logan Paul came down at 29, and he did a really cool spot with Ricochet, where they both jumped from both ends of the basically lariated over the ropes and mid-air splatted each other.
So it was like when you saw it, you were like, "Why have they done it?" Yeah. But it's so good.
Yeah.
He's like, why would you let that happen to yourself? Yeah, no, it was great. I thought Logan Paul was really good.
Yeah.
Again.
A good wrestler.
Yeah, he is.
The only proper surprise was Booker T.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a spinneroonie. Can you dig it, sucker?
Yeah.
Annoyingly, Cody Rhodes was number 30 in the match. Like, it was even worse to bring him as number 30. And he ended up defeating Gunther at the end to pick up the win. I was hoping they might have swerved it because Gunther was in it, and then they swerved it, and somehow Gunther won it at one point. I was really hoping for it. No.
Yeah.
I was really annoyed because Cody is being force-fed, and I think it's already losing the mystique of me caring about Cody being in the title picture.
I just don't think he was back long enough in the first place for me not to care about him.
Yeah, it's just
His run wasn't long before he got injured. It's like this was the way they were always going to go.
yeah.
Like even if he hadn't got injured, he was winning the Rumble. So
I wish there was just a bit of mystery of like, oh, come in at 15 or something, just so there's a bit, not
yeah,
just coming at 30. So
yeah, a bit of Jeopardy or something
yeah.
where he's actually encountering people.
And as they ask, I'm skipping to Raw for a second, but like the Judgment Day come out and say you basically just, how did you get number 30? You've just been given number 30 as well. It was pretty much it. So what? Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the Rumble. Like, the overallness of it was good. It was just there was a few points like that that just annoy me. But yeah, so Cody versus Reigns at Mania.
Yeah, because that's the way he's going.
Yep, and I can see I can see for Reigns winning.
I don't think they will. I think it's Cody now. I think they need the title. They don't need the title off Reigns, but I think they will get it off him because it's plausible. If he beats Cody Rhodes, what does he do?
Because I can think what'll happen is there's still 2-night reigns is supposed to be happening, 2-night reigns. So I can think him winning the first night and then losing to Zayn the second night.
I don't. He's not facing Zayn at Mania.
Zayn, telling you.
He's not. Zayn and Owens tag titles.
I don't know, because
done.
Zayn's got the proper Daniel Bryan story going on now that everyone wants him to win.
I think he'll tag title. They'll have whatever they do at Elimination Chamber maybe, but
depends what Jey Uso does as well, doesn't it? Because if he's not really that fussed.
Yeah.
But we're skipping forward. Yeah, next up we had Wyatt versus LA Knight. I was looking forward to this slightly. I watched the match. It was awful. I rated it just 2 stars because there was a bit of offense and stuff I enjoyed it, but it was just crap at the same time. So much green. And then Bray Wyatt, I don't know if he suddenly... Did he have a mask on in the end, or was that just his face? I weren't really paying attention. Did he put a mask on when he was getting...
Yeah, I think he put a mask on.
Yeah, and then he was getting... LA Knight was whacking him with a kendo stick after he lost, and then he ended up being thrown onto this paddy mattress thing, and there's Uncle Howdy without his mask on, and I think they didn't realise his mask wasn't on, so they shot his face really quickly and went, oh crap, his mask's not on. And then Uncle Howdy jumps and lands perfectly on... No, he doesn't. He misses him by miles.
Yeah, he misses him by miles.
Just awful segments. Next up, we had Bliss versus Blair. 2.5 average. Could have been better match. And it was more about the story. Uncle Howdy, again, Bliss is turning into whatever she's going to be. Next up, Women's Rumble. I liked it slightly less than the men's, but I still rated it 3.25 stars. It was pretty decent. Ripley went 1 to 30, so she Ironmanned it.
So did Liv Morgan, to be fair.
They ruined,
2 to 29.
Yeah, they've ruined the whole aspect. There's only 4 people that have won at number 1. It's like, that's still a lot of people for something that you're supposed to be the whole of a Rumble. So, like that, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd most won number now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like ruined the essence of going the whole time. It's like... there was bits and pieces in this. So Chelsea Green came back and got eliminated within seconds. I really liked that Oscar came back as basically like our old school gimmick and as Tanner, and she looked mental. So I'm looking forward to that. Doudrop is now Pippa Niven again. So I had a good minute and a half of just being really happy for 2 people. They made Oscar into a killer again, and they've actually gave Doudrop her actual name back because no one wants to call. And they kept joking, didn't they, for the whole of that park, saying Doudrop jokes. Did you see the drop the do? And so Ripley and Morgan ended up at the end, and Ripley ended up picking up the win. Overall, I think once again that was predictable as well, though. And there wasn't... was there any surprises? Oh, Nia Jax, good grief, I forgot that existed.
Yeah, Michelle McCool was in it as well.
Yeah, so Michelle McCool was in the ring side, and her number got pulled out, and she didn't know she was in it. And then Nia Jax came back.
They don't reckon she's signed though, do they?
I don't know, but she's got a shirt on WWE.com that's saying she's back, and she's not like most girls. I hate Nia Jax.
She's dreadful.
Yeah. There was this moment we were all just wanting to come back tonight, and it wasn't Nia Jax.
No.
The Rock can't come. We've got Nia Jax though.
Yeah.
And then
No.
the main event, I rated this 3.5 stars. This was my match of the night: Roman versus Owens. Great, absolute battering matchup with Zayn outside, kind of being like the stooge of it all. Roman keep testing him, and Zayn was like that. They got a spot where the ref got knocked out, and then Roman's going grab the chair, and Zayn won't give him the chair, and it kind of nearly Owens nearly picks up the win. But eventually, Reigns is kind of just overpowering Owens, and he just wins. I think he wins clean, don't he? In the end, if I remember, he just spears him to hell again.
Yeah, he did. He beat him clean. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some stuff happened afterwards. Which
just a little bit of stuff.
10 minutes. So basically, what happened was the Usos and that lot come down to obliterate Owens. Roman's obliterating Owens, and then they keep saying Sammy's going, "Come on, stop! It's just you can tell he's not wanting this." Roman's got handcuffs. He gives them to Jay and Jimmy, who hog tie him up to the ropes. Super kick the party to the hell to him. Then they start grabbing the chair, and since Sami Zayn jumps in and goes, this is beneath you. Don't do this, blah, blah, blah. And then Roman's kind of looking at him and goes, actually, it is beneath me. And you think, oh, that's going to be the end. And then he gives Sami the chair. And then Sammy's like, oh, I'm supposed to do this. And he's going, you do it. You do it. And he kept going, you do it. And then, Sami wouldn't do it. And then, out of nowhere, he clobbers Reigns in the back.
Yeah.
And then he looks at Jimmy and Jay and he goes, just do it.
Yeah.
Jimmy super kicks the crap out of him and starts beating the crap out of him, and Solo joins in. But then Jay doesn't have any of it and walks out, really upset.
Yeah.
So it's the ultimate swerve of that Jimmy was the one that was behind him for the whole time, but Jay's the one that's absolutely gutted by this.
Yeah.
Walks out, and they leave Roman and the Bloodline, the remaining bits of Bloodline, to absolutely murder Zayn and Owens.
Yeah.
And it goes off air.
It was wild. That was what everyone wanted. The pop when he hit him with that chair was yes, finally. But not the right type of finally, because I think everyone wanted The Rock. Everyone wanted it. That was the next best thing.
Yeah.
But everyone wanted The Rock.
Because I didn't watch it live, so the weird thing was I obviously saw it was 4 hours and 22 minutes, and I saw that it was 4 minutes 10 when this started happening. I was going, oh, there's 12 minutes after this. There's got to be crap happening. And it got to 4 minutes 18 or something. I was like, there's 4 minutes left of this. The Rock could still appear here. And then there, they just showed a package of the whole event. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. Because I was working on the Sunday, I stayed up and watched the men's rumble. Because I knew it was going on first. I was like, right, I'll watch that and see what it's like, know who's won. And then I'd get to see, if The Rock was in the Rumble, I'd get to see him come back.
Yeah.
Didn't, I was just like, right, I'll just watch the rest of it.
Yeah. But yeah, Royal Rumble, decent event. Middle matches were pants, but the rest was good.
Yeah, it served its purpose. I mean, we got the winner of the Rumble, which we now know is Cody Rhodes, who's going to face Roman Reigns. We've got a lot of good stuff that's going to come up with the Bloodline stuff now as well. Because it'll be interesting to see which direction they go, whether they do get The Rock for Mania or not. Yeah. Maybe they canned it a little bit purely because everyone knew.
Yeah.
And they were just like, we want it to be a bit more of a surprise, so don't do it now. And maybe they'll do it in a couple of weeks. Maybe on a random Raw or something.
There's also still a rumor that Austin's getting paid millions to fight Reigns, so,
I mean, yeah, I've seen the rumor. I don't know. I don't know if I'm that fussed.
If there's not a title involved, then I'd enjoy it. If there's a title involved, I don't want to see it because Roman's not losing to Austin for the title, is he?
No.
So, yeah.
No, I don't know. No. So we'll move on to Monday Night Raw because that was the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So Monday Night Raw kicked off with obviously Mr. Cody Rhodes. So it's his spiel in the ring, and he was just discussing what would he tell a younger self if if he would do the same things, like would you dress up as Stardust, would you do this? And then he said he would do everything again. It's pretty much just another rambly Cody Rhodes speech where I'm not really caring about Cody Rhodes. I'll be honest. He has good matches, But as a character, he's just me and my brother were discussing it. As a character, he is just AEW Cody Rhodes. That's his character. That he's come back as a guy that's got entrance music that used on AEW. That's what the pop is from him. He has good matches. Just I don't like him as a character.
Fair enough.
Judgment Day come down. Finn Balor basically is saying that Cody's been riding his coattails forever, and then if you look back at he's basically done everything. Finn's done it, and then Cody's done it afterwards. So yeah, there's pretty much a kind of thing like Bullet Club going to New Japan, stuff like that. Independence, yeah. So it's actually got a bit of a claim. Dominic Prison, that's what I'm calling him now. Dominic Prison. So if you do this, I'm gonna beat you. In prison. It's like Dom, come on.
It's so good though.
Dom, you've been in prison for 2 minutes. Go on. And then here comes Edge out of nowhere and absolutely mauls the Judgment Day again. So good times.
Beth Phoenix came back at the Rumble. We forgot about that.
Yep. So that's got to be an Elimination Chamber match, isn't it?
Either that or they'll do the mixed tag at Mania. Oh no, they can't.
Yeah, can't. Yeah, so it's got to be an Elimination Chamber because Ripley can't be in a mixed tag because she's unless she does double duty as well. I don't want to see double duties continuously though because that'll be silly.
No.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Elimination Chamber's got to happen.
Gotta be.
We had Rollins versus Gable, which I thought was going to be a really good match. It was decent, but I only rated 2 3/4. It was just there. It felt like. Like it wasn't bad, obviously, for 2 3/4. It was just there.
No, with Rollins and Gable, you expect a great wrestling match.
Yeah, rated 2 3/4. It was a quality match, but it wasn't great. Like it wasn't. It was just there. Obviously, Rollins picked up the win. Prior to this, these are Elimination Chamber qualifying matches for the United States Championship. So Rollins is in the Elimination Chamber with Theory at the moment. Next up, we went straight into another match, which was Candice versus Io. I really enjoyed this match, and I rated 3 stars. Like, it was all out, and like there was some like high offense on there, and it ended with a distraction for I believe Io picked up the win from the distraction, if you remember. Decent.
Because Candice can't buy a win.
Yeah.
It's mad, but going into, like you said, you enjoyed that match. They had a lot of matches in NXT back in the day.
Yeah.
So they knew each other. So you knew the match was going to be decent.
No, yeah, and obviously they need to kind of like with these two, especially because they're just not really dead. Lackey and then Candice is kind of around at the moment.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Rhea. Rhea's down in the ring, and she just basically announces that she's going to be fighting Charlotte. There wasn't kind of any hinting or if or buts. I'm going to be fighting Charlotte. She ruined my NXT title run, but she kind of humbled me, and now I'm going to humble you. Was pretty much the general gist of it. Rollins were backstage laughing that he's going to be in the US title picture. I've just kind of quickly noted that in there because nothing really happened. And then they hinted that, she said, "What are you going to do about Logan Paul?" And he thought about it and just walked off. Corbin versus Gargano. Midway, I wasn't really enjoying this, but at the end, I rated this 3 stars as well because it actually picked up and it was a really decent match. And this is sad, but I really like the Loomis spot in it. That Loomis, I know, it pulls a hatchet out, just like a hatchet, and then JBL's like, "What?" And he whams it in his hat.
So random.
And then Gargano picks up the win. Corbin, the losing machine, still keeps losing. Theory's out now. He's going to beat everyone in the chamber. Lashley comes out. He's discussing that, and then he's on about MVP. And I really didn't care about this segment. I like Theory, but also I don't like Theory.
He's like Marmite, isn't he?
Yeah, like sometimes it's like he's really good to watch, and then sometimes I don't care. Theory, just carry on. Judgment Day over it. Judge here. And I was like, who's Judge? Judgment Day. So basically, this was about Edge and stuff like that mainly. He was going like, Finn was just going, I work Mondays. He knows where I am. And, Cody Rhodes, you're going to be fighting me. And it's time for you. You've been living off my career. And it's time for you to pay the tax, which I did like that line. Miz was up next. No respect is shown to the Miz, and he was eliminated first, and everyone was laughing about him. Adam Pearce comes down, and they announce, you know what? If you want some respect, you're gonna have to fight this guy. And I was thinking, who's it gonna be? Rumble after, Raw after Rumble. It might be a decent person, or that might bring some back. Rick Boogs. And did you see Raw?
I didn't see this bit. I saw most of it.
Awful. He had a match with Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs does this thing where he's pretending to play guitar, but he's pretending to play it hunched over, and he's dancing around like this in the middle of the ring. Like he's doing the Ultimate Warrior thing, but dancing. It's like, I'll get away from a screen. I rated it quarter star. Hated it. Hated it. Like, it's already like I don't give a crap. But then I've completely forgot. Rick Boogs has been out since last Mania. That's a long period of being out. Next, we had Triple
M. Got injured in the tag match, didn't he?
Yeah,
tag match,
he got injured, and they kept blaming the Usos, not actually like in storyline. But what happened was he lifted someone up in a gorilla press slam, and his knee gave way. And they kept saying the Usos injured Rick Boogs, and it's like, no, his knee gave way. Weak. No.
Rick Boogs injured Rick Boogs.
Yeah, we had Triple M backstage. They were basically calling something awful and going, "That's disgusting," and then it panned and it was Otis. But in like their gimmicky, weirdy way. And then Maxine Dupree goes, "He's perfect." So I think what they're going to try and do is get Otis in Triple M now.
Make it even better than it already is.
Yeah. God damn it, DP. Bayley in the ring next. She was laughing about obviously what happened with Becky and how they were really dominant in the Women's Rumble. Becky comes down and goes, give the people what I want, a cage match. And Bayley was going, why would I give you a cage match? Like, I already beat you and so forth like that. Becky goes, hold on 1 second. Goes back outstage and drags grabs Dakota Kai out into the ring with a chair around her leg. And was going, give me what we want or I'm going to break her leg. Bayley said, okay. So there's going to be a steel cage match next week. This time, for real. Imagine if they don't do it again. Imagine if the
Rock comes back next week and takes up all the time.
Imagine, though, if they do the exact same thing, Bayley, Dakota, and Fingy attack her beforehand. It's like, why didn't you learn?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it'd annoy a lot of people, but it would make sense. Yeah. It would be funny.
Yeah, or they should attack and then she should have, like, Meechin and Fingy come down. It should, because it kind of, like, you should have re-attempt to do it again. Because, like, if it worked the first time. Pierce was then backstage. He was on about, they're going to have a cage match, and then the Elimination Chamber is going to be good as well with the women. There's going to be and then Chelsea Green comes in, so she's actually back. And she goes to Adam Pierce. She goes, where's my, I'm back, but I've not got a specialist dressing room. I've not got like my spring water. Where's my Swiss chocolates and stuff like that? I need to speak to your manager, kind of Karen role. And then Adam Pearce goes, let me go find you some Swiss chocolates. So it was literally this gave up.
She's been signed for a while though, Chelsea Green, apparently.
Just don't know what to do. I'm waiting for Matt Cardona's got to come back. And it's going to be
I thought it was going to be a surprise in the Rumble. I thought it was going to be a surprise in the Rumble. I really did.
Yeah. Come back, woo, woo, woo. And then just be Matt Cardona, but just have the music for it. It would have been cool. Next up, we had another qualifier, Reed versus Ziggler. I rated 2 stars. It was good, but it was a squash at the same time. So that was a thing. Mella is money.
She's back. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And she's money. And then Asuka comes over. She looks at her. And then just starts puking fucking mist out her mouth. And Mella's like, and that's it. That's the whole shot. And I was like, I love Asuka. This is, already stealing the show again. And then main event time, I rated 3.25 stars. It was a good match. Like it wasn't like a banger, which I expected it to be with Balor and Cody, but it became like a distractathon, which probably helped it. So Edge was attacking the Judgment Day, and for some reason the Judgment Day can't beat one man down. And then Rhea attacks Edge, and then Phoenix comes down and spears Rhea again. For some reason, Rhea just looks at her and goes, "Why are you running at me?" "Oh no, you're going to spear me." "It's too late." And then Edge distracts Finn, and then Cody does 17 crossroads to pick up the win on Finn. And then he just celebrates in the ring, and that was the end of Raw. Match-wise, Raw was good. And there's some progression, but there's also some ass promos and stuff I don't care about.
Yeah, it's hard with 3 hours. Yeah. Like, you put ass on the telly because you've got time to fill. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was a 2-hour show, I think Raw would actually be banging.
Yeah.
But they've got the talent on there to make a really good 2-hour show. 3 hours is a stretch.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, not a bad Raw at all. You're going to have to fully go through Dynamite on your own because I never get time to watch this before we record. So yeah, Dynamite is all yours.
Yeah. So Dynamite. To sum it up, we won't go through it all. Good wrestling, terrible stories. Good night, everybody. No, yeah. So
Someone wrote in a Discord we're in that it was a banging show. So I just expected you to.
Wrestling is
say it was
banging. The show, because I speak like my brother's one because he's into AEW and stuff. We discuss this a lot. AEW struggles by not having monthly pay-per-views, so the stories are ass or they're dragged out so long. But we'll kick off. So it started off with Mox versus Page. I rated this 4.5 stars. Such a banging match. So
match
good.
on the show.
Absolute insanity. Like it was a jump start. Moxley jumped Page. They were in the crowd, beating the crap out of each other. Obviously, Mox is bleeding at some point. Just King Kong lariats hitting each other, chokeholds. Yeah, Moxley gets put through a table. There's like apron spots. Like it's just so good match, just so hard hitting, like good match, and ends up with I was really surprised. Moxley picked up the win. With a basically Page got him in the the bully choke that Moxley gets him in, and Moxley reversed it into like a really cradle pin and got the win. But yeah, match wise, it was so good. 4.5 star banger.
I don't know how controversial people might find this, but Logan Paul does a better buckshot lariat than Adam Page.
Yeah, it's because Logan's more athletic looking. And it just looks more athletic, whereas Page looks like he needs to make sure it's going to happen. Where I think Logan's so athletic, it looks like he doesn't need to try to do it, whereas Page, when he's doing it, looks like he's getting his concentration to make sure he doesn't F it up. Like CM Punk, basically, when it actually happened. So yeah, that was a banging match of the night straight away. Next up, to continue with my trend, so we had Jamie Hayter backstage, and Bunny has challenged her to an elimination match, like an eliminator match. And then
because you can do that now.
Yeah,
you can make yourself.
Yeah, it just
in that.
And she agreed because Jamie Hayter's obviously going to agree to it. Titantron flashes on, like the not Titantron, like the TV next to him, and it's Saraya and Tony Storm beating the crap out of Britt Baker. And then it kind of pans away from that. Next up, we had the Acclaimed versus Magnum and Floyd.
Sounds like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, it was like one guy was called Floyd Turbo, and the other one was like Magnum something. It was a 1/4 star squash match.
Great.
Then the Guns came down and challenged the Acclaimed titles, and there was a big argument. And then Billy Gunn said he's sick of it; it was about to go down. And then Colton or Austin said something about, you go back and pop some pills, bringing it back. And then it was just, yeah. Then they had a random 5-second promo of Jungle Boy going, "I've been teaming with Hook. It's been good, but I can't trust people being in a tag team match. I'm going to see championships in my future, but it's going to be singles championships." Anyway, next. That was genuinely what happened. I don't even understand why he was doing it. So we had Takeshita versus Brian Cage. I rated 3.25 stars. It was just a meaty men hitting each other match, and Takeshita being great at wrestling match. And he ended up picking up the win. Takeshita's just good, and Brian Cage is good when he's got good opponents. Next up, we had the Jazz Society. So hear me out. This match next week, the Garcia and Guevara gauntlet match.
Right.
So Ricky Starks. So it's called the Garcia and Guevara gauntlet match. So what do you think Ricky Starks has got to do?
I dread to think what Ricky Starks is going to do. Go on.
He's got to beat in the Garcia and Guevara gauntlet match. So he's got to beat Matt Menard. Then he's got to beat Angelo Parker, or the other way around. Then he's got to beat either Guevara or Garcia, or the other way around. Then he's got to beat the other one. And then he gets to fight Jericho. All in the same night, by the way.
So we know he's doing it right.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, this is pointless.
5-way match, and it was kind of like, why is it also called the Guevara Gauntlet? There's 5 of them. Why is it not just called the Jazz Society flipping gauntlet?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just, as I say, I'm not a big fan of Ricky Stark, so I'm not looking forward to this match at all. Especially 5 matches technically.
Yeah.
We had the Elite backstage. No, sorry, not the Elite backstage. They were on a basketball court in like a gymnasium. and they're fighting Top Flight and AR Fox next week, they announced. And then they said it's going to be perfect. Nick threw a basketball and it landed in. And then here comes the firm and said, you know what? You get to pick your challenge there. You better fight us this weekend. That's happening, so it's going to be the firm versus the elite. Matt Hardy, Isaiah, and Ethan Page.
Okay.
Brian versus Timothy Thatcher. I rate this 3 stars. It was good, but it was not as good as I wanted it to be.
I expected, like, when we talked about it last week, didn't we? We said it was going to probably be a banger.
Yeah.
So now that you're rating it 3 stars, I'm like, oh.
It was just very. All it was Timothy Thatcher attacking Brian's arm for the whole match. That's all it was. Yeah. But like, there was not much to it except for that. The ref gets knocked down. MJF comes down with his Dynamite ring or whatever. He's still got it. He's still got it somehow, but I'm sure he lost it. And he's about to go into the ring, but then a hooded figure comes out the crowd and jumps, and it's Takeshita, and he's beating the crap out of him. And then they're fighting backstage. And then Brian ends up picking up the win. It was just a bit meh.
Yeah.
And then it ends up with seeing backstage that Takeshita and MJF are still fighting, and they eventually get split up. And then it gets announced next week that Takeshita's going to fight MJF in an eliminator match. But that one makes more sense because there's a rivalry there, and obviously they've been brawling, so it makes sense. And Takeshita's been on a roll, so it makes sense for him to have an eliminator match. Brian's next opponent next week is Roosh. So he's backstage discussing it. MJF comes in with a suitcase full of cash. I'm talking like a suitcase full of not a suitcase, a briefcase full of cash. He goes to Roosh. I don't care if you win, but if you break him, I want you to hit his arm over his head, and I'll give you 5 cases full of this. I was like, MJF, how much money do you have? Like it was like loaded, this guy, and it was 5 of them. And then Roosh is basically calling MJF a perro for the whole of it, so he's just pretty much he's going to do it, but he doesn't like MJF.
Yeah.
Match of the night was up next. I lied for the 4.5 star. So the match of the night, Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet. I rated it 2.25 stars. Same absolute craptastic match.
Yeah.
And Jade Cargill is now 50-0.
Great.
Like I'm going to go past this. I don't normally want to go through this, but I want to have a quick rundown of who Jade Cargill's defended this title against. Like, in essence, to get to 50-0. Because, like, I remember the odd person, and then it's like, has she been defending an absolute... Let's have a look.
Elevation.
Let's have a look. So, detailed defences, here we go. So, she's defeated, obviously, it's not 50-0 for the title, it's just 50-0 in general. So, she defeated Ruby Soho, then she beat Anna Jay, then she beat Julia Hart, then she beat AQA, Bunny, Ty Conti, Shafir, Anna Jay again, Nightingale, Grey, Rain, Athena, Diamante, Nightingale, Shafir, Rose, Hogan, Blue and Velvet. What an awful title run.
Yeah, it's a who's who of who ain't ever going to win a big title.
Yeah, there's no big... But, like, Ruby Soho's the big win to get it, and then Athena is probably the only one I'd go, actually. The rest are all like, oh, hello. Like, there's no Tony Storm, there's no Britt Baker, there's no Chris Statlander, there's no, like,
No.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't get her. Oh, God. I'm going to move on. Yeah, Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Baker's backstage, and she's discussing how she got beat up. Then Ruby comes in, and then Baker says, they're your girls. And then Ruby goes, are you okay? And then she goes, well, yeah, people need to have their guard up. So the main event, as I said, this is what the AEW is. Awful random crap happening. Main event, I rated 4 stars. Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin. Absolute battering fest of a no-holds-barred match. Joe's bleeding. Allen's came down with a jacket that's got thumbtacks on it. So he's doing his crap with thumbtacks. Obviously, there's a lot of spots like getting hit with kendo stick tables and stuff like that. Darby Allin pulls out a knife and starts cutting the ring apron and stuff like that, and then reveals like the boards underneath, and it ends with the boards exposed. Darby Allin takes a muscle buster from the second rope onto the boards. Absolute insanity, and Samoa Joe wins the title. Samoa Joe is now the TNT title again.
Darby Allin's fecking off somewhere, though, and he needs to film something for Jackass. So.
Yeah. He had a good run, 5 weeks of, like, he had good opponents and 5 lives. TNT title was just a title match. And then, so that's your main event, 4-star match. But then there's a return. Who do you think the return is?
Wardlow.
Yes. No. I don't care about this at all. Wardlow comes down. The crowd goes mild. He attacks Samoa Joe. Samoa leaves, and then he attacks the few. I just didn't care in the end. I turned it off. Wrestling-wide, AEW is great, but it's such a slog for some of the stories. So Wardlow's going to beat Joe for the title, isn't he? So it's just going to be another pass the title round kind of situation.
Yeah. That'll be at the next pay-per-view. I can't remember what it is. Is it Revolution?
Probably. There's like a month. It's a month away still. That's,
I can't remember because they have them that infrequently. I can't remember which ones they are.
Yeah, like the events, pay-per-views. Don't get me wrong. When they have the pay-per-view matches are great.
Yeah.
But there's not enough pay-per-views, so the stories are dragged on.
Yeah. They stagnate too quickly because you're having them on TV, and that's the only time you're getting them. So you have 12 weeks of TV, but you're trying to not let them have the blow-off match in them 12 weeks.
Yeah,
and it's just like, how can you keep a story fresh for 12 weeks before you get the payoff?
What's mental as well is we say this, but then also the week before a pay-per-view, AEW just go like Afterbirth Central on every match, where there's a brawl at the end of every match. Like they need to suddenly, oh God, we got a pay-per-view, we need to book something. Like I'm really confused. But yeah, no, that was the end of Dynamite. So wrestling was fantastic. Best show wrestling-wise by a mile. To be fair, story-wise, it was probably Rumble story-wise, but wrestling-wise, it was best show.
Yeah. No, fair play. Like I said, I don't get to catch Dynamite. I always have to watch it the day after. But sounds like a good show. I'll definitely be checking out Hangman and Mox because that sounds wild. So
yeah, it was insane. And Samoa Joe Allen's watch. I know you're not a big fan of Allen, but it's a good match.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a good match, I don't mind giving him a watch. And it's a different hatred of Darby Allin than I have for, say, the Bucks and Omega.
Yeah.
But I can cope with Omega singles matches. Fine. I can watch an Omega singles match. Anything involving the Bucks is just not for me.
Best tag team in the world, right?
Yeah, no. But yeah, that will bring an end to the podcast for this week. So obviously we had the Royal Rumble to review as well. Don't think we've done too bad for time. So on your commutes to work,
42 minutes.
Not too bad. Yeah, so on your commutes to work, to and from, get your family involved, get everyone listening to me and Rate talk crap. Because we enjoy doing it. And that's why we keep on doing it.
Yep.
So like, subscribe, follow, all the fun stuff. We've got our Twitter handles below. You can follow us on our show Twitter handle at the HCW Show. Follow us on there. We've just had our giveaway. Winner has been contacted and will be receiving their free tickets to BCCW on February the 10th.
Yep.
So they've got that to look forward to. Well done. We'll get another one up and coming, hopefully. We're just trying to iron out a few details and try and sort that one out.
DP, so don't, like the giveaway could be a day.
Yeah. It could be. It could. But yeah, we've got more interviews coming. A few penciled in. I think you've got another one penciled in, haven't you, right?
I've got someone in. Like we've been speaking. We couldn't do it last time, and I've messaged him recently. We're just getting back to it. We can announce the interview. We've got one with Sky. Oh, I do apologise. I need to. It's DP's.
Yeah.
I know the first name's Sky. I do apologise that I should probably got this up. Because I'm going to be doing a smoker with them as well.
Sky O'Shore,
yeah.
So yeah, thank you, Sky, for taking part and giving some time to DP, because not many people give DP time. So no, thank you very much. It's much appreciated.
Context of that sentence.
Well, no, it is very much appreciated. Any wrestler who comes on and shares their stories with us it means the world to us. So thank you very much to everyone, past, present, and future, who has taken part in interviews, is waiting for interviews to go live, or wants to come on. If you want to come on, contact us. We'll contact you as well. But yeah, we're always reaching out, trying to get new interviews for you guys, just to be entertained.
Yeah.
We'll have more show reviews coming up. I believe Rate is attending an OTT show.
Yeah, that's in March with Moxley.
In March. with Mox on. That's the only
Yeah.
reason I brought it up, because Mox was on it. So yeah, he sort of double booked himself, and then he prioritized the wrestling. So,
Yeah, and also
that's-
Santino Morella's on it as well.
well, there you go. Is it Santino or Santina?
It's Santino.
Right.
Well, we have Santino. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Oh, and
who
Davey
knows? But
Richards
yeah.
is on it as well. By the way, that's going to be a bang. Davey Richards versus Dan Maloney. What a banger that is of a match.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh no, so you'll have fun there, but yeah, you'll have more show reviews coming up from the indie scene in the UK. DP attends shows, I don't know, probably more than he changes his clothes. So yeah, keep an eye out for DP's reviews. It'll either be myself or Rate reviewing them with him, unless we're too busy and then he has to do it himself. We love you really, DP. I know you get ripped on this show a bit, but we love
And
you.
in the DMs, as we found out recently.
Yeah, but no. No, thank you all again, and we will catch you on the next one. It is a goodbye from me.
Ta-ra!
From Ray. See you on the next one, guys.
Bye-bye.